Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. China and Brazil are two very big and important countries in the world. China is in Asia and Brazil is in South America. Even though they are far away from each other, their relationship is very strong. Both countries want to work together in many areas like business, trade, technology, and politics. China is the most populated country in the world and it has the second largest economy. It is well known for making and selling many products, such as electronics, clothes, machines, and cars. Brazil, on the other hand, is the largest country in South America and has a lot of natural resources. It is famous for its farms, coffee, soybeans, beef, and iron ore. Because of this, Brazil can sell many products to China, and China can sell many products to Brazil. Another important point is that both China and Brazil are part of a group called BRICS, which also includes Russia, India, and South Africa. This group was made to help big developing countries work together and have more power in the world economy. Through BRICS, China and Brazil share ideas, make new plans, and support each other in international matters. The relationship between China and Brazil is not only about buying and selling things, it also shows that two countries from very different parts of the world can cooperate and become partners. This partnership is very important for South America because it gives Brazil more strength and also helps China build stronger connections in the region. In simple words, China and Brazil are like two friends who live far apart but trust each other, help each other, and plan to grow together. Their friendship is becoming stronger every year and is now seen as one of the most important partnerships in the modern world. Trade means buying and selling things between countries. Investment means when one country spends money in another country to build projects or businesses. Between China and Brazil, trade and investment are very important. China is the biggest trading partner of Brazil. This means that Brazil sells more products to China than to any other country. At the same time, Brazil also buys many products from China. Their trade relationship is strong and growing every year. Brazil mostly sells natural products to China. These include soybeans. China buys a lot of soybeans to feed animals and make cooking oil. Beef. Brazil is one of the biggest meat producers, and China imports large amounts of Brazilian beef. Iron ore. Brazil has big mines, and China uses this iron to make steel for construction and factories. Coffee. Brazil is famous for coffee, and China is becoming a big coffee-drinking country. Oil. Brazil also exports oil to China. On the other hand, China sells industrial and manufactured products to Brazil. These include electronics like mobile phones, computers, and televisions, machines and equipment for factories, cars, buses, and motorcycles, clothes, shoes, and other consumer goods that people use every day. The value of trade between the two countries is billions of dollars each year. This trade helps both economies. Brazil earns money by selling its farm and mining products, and China gets the raw materials it needs for its industries. Investment is also important. China has started to invest money in Brazil's energy, mining, and transport systems. This helps Brazil improve its economy, and at the same time, it gives China more access to the resources it needs. In simple words, Brazil gives China food and raw materials, while China gives Brazil technology and finished goods. Both countries win from this trade and want to continue growing this partnership. Infrastructure means the basic things a country needs for daily life and economic growth. This includes roads, railways, airports, ports, electricity, water systems, and communication networks. Without good infrastructure, trade and development become very difficult. China has become a very important partner for Brazil in building and improving infrastructure. Because China has a lot of experience in construction and technology, it helps Brazil by investing money and providing skilled companies to work on big projects. One of the main areas is transportation. Chinese companies are helping Brazil build new railways. Railways are important because they make it easier and cheaper to move goods, especially soybeans, beef, and iron ore, from farms and mines to the ports. China has also helped in the modernization of ports. Ports are where ships load and unload goods, and since Brazil exports a lot to China, strong and modern ports are necessary. In addition, some road projects are supported by Chinese companies to connect cities and rural areas, making trade and travel faster. Another important area is energy projects. China has invested in hydropower plants which use water to create electricity. China is also supporting wind energy and solar energy projects in Brazil. These are renewable sources of energy, which means they are cleaner and better for the environment. By investing in energy, China helps Brazil produce more electricity for homes, factories, and industries. Mining and natural resources are also part of the cooperation. Chinese companies have invested in Brazil's iron ore and oil industries. This investment allows Brazil to increase production while China gets more access to the raw materials it needs. These infrastructure and development projects are very important for Brazil because they create jobs, improve trade, and bring new technology. At the same time, China benefits because it secures access to food, energy, and raw materials for its fast-growing economy. In simple words, China builds railways, ports, and energy projects in Brazil. Brazil, in return, becomes stronger and more modern, while China gets the resources it needs. This is a win-win situation for both countries and makes their friendship even stronger. Politics and diplomacy mean how countries deal with each other, how they solve problems, and how they make decisions together at the international level. The political and diplomatic relationship between China and Brazil is very important because both countries want to have a stronger voice in the world. Both China and Brazil believe in the idea of a multipolar world. This means they do not want just one country, like the United States, to have all the power. Instead, they want many strong countries to share power and work together fairly. By supporting each other, China and Brazil try to make the world more balanced. One big place where they cooperate is in the group called BRICS: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. In BRICS meetings, they talk about world trade, money systems, development, and how to help poor and developing countries. China and Brazil often support each other's ideas inside BRICS. For example, they both want to reform the global financial system so that it is not controlled only by Western countries. They also work together in the United Nations UN. In the UN, both countries speak for the rights and needs of developing nations. For example, they support fair trade, peace, and climate action. Brazil often supports China's positions in the UN, and China supports Brazil's efforts to get more influence in international organizations. Another part of their cooperation is economic diplomacy. Brazil needs a big market for its products like soybeans, beef, and iron ore. China provides that market, and this gives Brazil more confidence in its economy. At the same time, China needs friendly countries in South America, and Brazil is the largest and most powerful partner it can have. Cultural and educational diplomacy is also growing. More Brazilian students are going to China to study, and more Chinese students and workers are visiting Brazil. This helps both countries understand each other's culture, language, and way of life better. In simple words, China and Brazil are not only trading partners, they are also political friends. They support each other in big international groups like BRICS and the United Nations. They believe in fairness, balance, and cooperation in the world. This political friendship makes their economic relationship even stronger and helps both countries have more influence globally. Even though the relationship between China and Brazil is strong and growing, there are still some challenges that both countries face. At the same time, there are also many future opportunities that can make their partnership even better. Challenges: trade balance problem. Most of the time, the trade balance is in China's favor. This means Brazil sells a lot to China, but it mostly sells raw products like soybeans, beef, and iron ore. China, on the other hand, sells advanced products like electronics, machines, and technology. Brazil worries that it is becoming too dependent on selling only raw materials and not developing its own industries. Dependence on China. Brazil's economy is now very connected to China. If China's economy slows down or changes its policies, Brazil could face economic problems. This dependence makes Brazil think about how to diversify its trade with other countries as well. Political pressure from the United States. The U.S. is another important partner for Brazil. Sometimes the U.S. does not like Brazil being too close to China. This can create pressure on Brazil to choose sides in international politics, which is not always easy. Environmental concerns. Brazil exports a lot of farm products, which leads to deforestation in the Amazon rainforest. China's growing demand for these products can increase environmental challenges. Both countries need to think about how to trade without harming nature, future prospects, opportunities, technology, and innovation. In the future, China and Brazil can work together in technology fields such as artificial intelligence, space research, and digital economy. This can help Brazil grow its industries and reduce dependence on raw materials. Green energy and climate cooperation. Both countries are interested in renewable energy like solar, wind, and hydropower. They can cooperate more to create clean energy projects that protect the environment and reduce pollution. Cultural and educational exchange. More students, tourists, and workers can travel between China and Brazil. This will build stronger understanding, friendship, and trust between their people. South American leadership. Brazil is the largest country in South America. By working with China, it can become a stronger leader in the region. This partnership can also open the door for China to build better relations with other South American countries. Global cooperation. In groups like BRICS and the United Nations, China and Brazil can continue to support each other and give developing countries a stronger voice. In simple words, the relationship between China and Brazil has some problems, like trade imbalance, dependence, and political pressure. But the future also has many opportunities, like working together in technology, green energy, culture, and world politics. If both countries focus on cooperation and fairness, their friendship will become even stronger in the coming years. If you want to receive our every new video first, then subscribe to the channel now, press the bell icon, and share the video with your friends.